And I think we are rolling again. And so you mentioned, you know, that when it comes to meditation, this is something that anyone can do, and that it isn't going to conflict with different religious beliefs. But how do we, because it seems so much of the violence, at least on the surface, seems to be driven by religious differences. How do we kind of bring all of that together? There are people that don't believe in you, you know.
Well, be quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether you believe in me, whether you think I'm a God, a son of God, a prophet, the guy in the Bible, the guy on the street corner. That has nothing to do with it, okay? Your individual beliefs really have nothing to do with it. What meditation will do, it will help awaken you. It will help educate you. Your emotions of fear, anger, some of the really powerful emotions will be tempered. You will look on people differently. You will, and this doesn't happen overnight. You know, this is why it's so important to start now, because it does not happen overnight. You start to temper everything, and all of a sudden you start feeling compassion for people. You feel when you see a hungry person. You're just not seeing, you're feeling. When you see a homeless person, you're feeling. You're not just seeing. And you act on those feelings. So society as a whole becomes more compassionate. Fears slide away. Not everybody's gonna do this, you know. But right now, there's just not enough. If we really get millions and millions more people, that goodness, that good energy that all these millions of people will put off will negate all these others. The world will become a better place. Sharing becomes more easy. And I don't mean writing a check to a charity. You know, I mean actually physically, you know, sharing with people. Our tolerance for different religions, various beliefs, you know, we understand a little better about them. Quite honestly, and this is going to sound a little crazy, belief in a God or gods or a certain way, a certain religion, atheist, whatever you might be, wherever you might be, and in the big picture really doesn't matter, okay? If you enjoy going to a certain kind of a church or mosque or temple or a drum circle or whatever it is, if you enjoy that, if that makes you feel good in here, then I say do it, you know. But if it comes to a point where all of a sudden you're looking at maybe something that doesn't seem quite right, where maybe there's some people saying these people are bad, those people are bad, you know, maybe you ought to reevaluate where you're going and maybe find a different group of people possibly to hang with and feel good with. There's nothing wrong with religions, but in the big picture, really makes a little difference whether you believe in me or don't believe in me. If my teachings give you inspiration, that's great. You know, when I was in India, I studied the Vedas, I studied Buddha. They were great inspiration for me. I went to Egypt, I went to Persia, I went to all these places. I found common truths. I found so much goodness there, and that was all a part of me. I incorporated it into there. It was all a part of me and my teachings. Now, having said that, some of my teachings and very important parts don't show up. And that's sad, you know. I was very big in trying to teach people to meditate. I thought that was a very, very good way. You see very little emphasis in that in the Bible. Reincarnation, another one. You saw it in the early Christian church by about 400. You didn't see it anymore. That's a concept some people know about, some don't. But important to know that.
Well, there's a lot of different gospels, and you know, obviously through history, different councils came together, you know, like the Council of Nicaea, and a lot of people decided what was going to be kept and what wasn't going to be kept. And now, since the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls, we have more gospels.
Exactly.
And what do we go by?
I would put it to you like this. Don't get so hung up in the details. Look at the overall message. What was my big overall message? And the big overall message of a lot of the great teachers is love. You know, if you want to look at it, God is really, if you want to call it God, or the universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it's just love. That's it. You know, nothing more, nothing less. So don't get so hung up on the details. Most all major religions, you know, teach essentially the same thing. Something similar to the Ten Commandments, you know. A way to structure society where, you know, hopefully you don't kill, you don't steal. Speaking of don't kill, another big one. You know, I was never big on that, was I? I think people forget sometimes. Nonviolence. The earth is precious. In the great scheme of things, this is where souls come to learn some of their lessons. We need earth. We need it intact. Okay? This is an important stopping point for souls. All right? They can go other places and learn other things, but we need to take care of this earth. All right? It's a living, breathing thing, and we cannot destroy it. It's got to keep going. And it's down to you. It's down to me. You know, I never left. I've been with you guys all the time. I'm within you each and every day, and you're with me each and every day. We are all part of the same thing, okay? You've got to understand that. We've got to take care of our Mother Earth. We need it. Okay, I'm sorry. With
the taking care of the earth, one thing that I think speaks to this, and it's something that, you know, has gotten a lot of people's attention lately, is what about, how did you feel, and well, you were walking on this earth as in an incarnation as Jesus Christ. Were animals important to you?
What?
Were the animals important to you? And do you consider them part of taking care?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They're part of us, yes, absolutely. Every plant, every animal, every rock, you're into that. They're all vitally important to us. They are all incorporated within us, absolutely. We have to take care of all these things. They are a big part of us. You know, we've had a long, long history on planet Earth, and there have been advanced civilizations that have risen and have died off and back and forth for a very, very long time, much further back than you understand at the moment. I don't want to see this world, this civilization, to go through the whole thing. Back in some of those days, you know, they destroyed parts of the earth. But unfortunately, with what we have now, it could literally, there's enough nuclear weapons to destroy this earth probably 100 times over. You know, we cannot do that. Mother Nature will come back after some destruction. After thousands and thousands and thousands of years, it will reemerge, it will come back. But we can't afford that. We just cannot do that.
You mentioned, we didn't go into much detail, but you mentioned reincarnation was something that was kind of, I guess, taken out of the teachings in the church. And what's the importance of that to us?
Actually, first few hundred years, I want to set things straight. I never started out to make a religion, okay? I was a teacher. That's what I was. I was a seeker all my life. I learned all these things, and I wanted to teach, okay? And that's what I did. Reincarnation lasted up, well, it got to a point where finally all the powers to be were trying to organize a Christian religion, okay? So they were trying to establish what they were going to include in this, and the things that they didn't figure more or less were important. Something happened in Christianity, and it happens in a lot of religions, that